Sound recording and music production has come a long way in the nearly 200 years, and Thomas Edison was the man who started it all. In 1877, Edison invented the first machine that could actually record sound. This machine was called the phonograph. He did this by using two needles on tinfoil cylinders. A year after his discovery, he recorded Mary Had a Little Lamb on the first phonograph. This made Edison the first inventor to successfully record the human voice. In 1888, Emil Berliner invented the gramophone, which used a disc rather than the wax cylinders. The discs were flat and measured about 7 inches in diameter and could hold up to 2 minutes of recording. The Columbia Phonograph Company was one of the many franchises that competed in the graphophone leasing business. The company was able to survive the fading economy of the 1890s. They did this by sending recorded music to fairgrounds to accompany their graphophones. This was also known as the birth of the nickel jukebox. Throughout the first decade of the 20th century, disc technology becomes popular. In 1901, the 78 makes its debut. 78 was named for its rotational speed of 78 rotations per minute, and was 10 inches in diameter. In 1909, the use of the wax cylinders was discontinued, and this was the time that the disc became more popular. In 1906, the Victor Talking Machine Company introduced the Victrola, a version of the phonograph but was designed to fit within homes. The Victrola introduced the amplification horn below the turntable and was concealed within a wooden cabinet. During this time, the Victrola was the best-selling record player. The first V-disc by RCA was shipped to entertain troops abroad in 1943, and the polyvinyl chloride, also known as PVC or vinyl, became the new material for record production. Vinyls remained popular even after World War II ended. In 1948, Columbia introduced the first 12-inch, 33 1/3 RPM long-playing vinyl light record. Half a year later, RCA came out with their own format, a 7-inch disc. You could say this was a battle of the speeds during the 40s. Later, in 1962, manufacturing of the magnetic recording tapes began, and this led into the creation of cassette tapes. The first cassette tape player, designed by the Norelco Company, was finally available in the US 2 years later in 1964. By the end of the 60s, blank cassette tapes were cheaper than vinyl. The recording sound device most likely to challenge the cassette tape for buyers was the 8-track tape cartridge. The 8-track was also offered as an option in Ford Motor Company's 1966 models. The next big milestone for sound recording and music production was the creation of CDs. Sony and Philips get the most credit for developing the compact disc in 1978. After the introduction of CDs, the 80s became a booming time in audio history. Within 3 years of CD's arrival in the marketplace, the electronic industry has sold over 1 million CD players. The first transition from having music and sound recordings on a disc to a portable player started in 1990. The combination of digital audio and the internet together created moving picture experts Group 1 Layer 3, or also known by its shorter name, the MP3. The MP3 made it possible to send digital audio files from computer to computer without damaging the quality. In May of 1999, Sean Fanning and Sean Parker introduced peer-to-peer file sharing network called Napster. Later in December, the Recording Industry Association of America sued Napster for alleged copyright infringement, and Napster shut down in July of 2001. The first iPod was introduced in 2001 and was capable of holding 1,000 songs. In 2002, Apple introduced their second-generation iPod that not only held 4,000 songs but was also compatible with Windows. In 2003, Apple Computer launched by far the most successful online music store to this day. Within its first year, Apple had sold 70 million songs at 99 cents a song. The first mobile phone that had been built with an MP3 player was made by Samsung in South Korea, which launched in 2000. This invention spread rapidly and soon became available worldwide by 2006. However, the rapid rise of the media players and phones was quoted by Apple as their primary reason for creating their iPhone. From the beginning with Thomas Edison and the gramophone, audio technology has continued to grow and evolve. Because of the evolution of technology, sound recording and music production has changed as well. With every year in history, people were able to buy or create their own recordings for a cheaper price and better quality. Technology will only continue to advance, and the opportunities for sound recording and music production are endless.